When I have a dream, when you have a dream and a native couldn't go any higher to go in the NHL. To be a native is difficult in this world. I reached my goal in the NHL.
Sanse, welcome inside the studios of Seven Generation live streaming. I'm your host, Greg Buchanan. Joining us right now via the internet, via the podcast, Neil Sasakamoose, Neil, the son of Freddie. And Neil, welcome to Seven Generation live streaming. As you're getting ready for the big Freddie tournament, how excited are you?
Oh yeah, no, it's always a big month for us, and we wait for the May long weekend. People put in flowers, and we get ready for my dad's tournament, and try to get all these teams to come to Saskatoon and have some really good entertainment. So that's what we do for the May long weekend.
I have to do a personal note to you, Neil. You just came through chemotherapy. You're fighting cancer. You know what? Does this kind of everything you've gone through to lead up to this moment and to get ready for the tournament? Is the tournament in some way a connection to your dad and a grounding for you to say, hey, everything's going to be okay? I got through the chemo. I got a battle ahead of me, but I'm winning it so far.
Oh, chemo is cancer. When they tell you you have cancer, I found out in August, and that's
Wow.
that's like hitting not. I don't. People say you walk into a brick wall, and that thing hits you with a 2x4. You don't know what's going to happen, and you get really scared actually, and then your life doesn't flash before your eyes, but you start thinking about pain. That's what I thought about. Oh, okay, I'm going to go through some pain, and then I had surgery, and they removed a large tumor size of a grapefruit out of my small intestine,
Oh, wow.
and that was on Halloween Day. And then they let me recover for about a month, and then I went on chemo, and I got off a couple weeks ago. And the chemotherapy is it's could hit you any which way it wants, I find, and you're uninformed, and you don't know what's going on, and they don't tell you very much because I think they don't want to over freak you out or give you so much information, but you go in there pretty dumb to what's going to happen to you, and you have to experience it. There's nothing to explain. You have to experience going through it, and it's ugly, it's painful, it's tiring. I'm exhausted all the time, and the tournament I was really sick over the winter and from it, and we really didn't start the tournament for till like about 3 weeks ago when I was on my last round.
Wow.
And my boy Gabriel and my son Avery and them, and they just said, "Our dad, I think we should better get going with the tournament day." And I said, "Yeah." And then you lose track of time, and because you're so sick all the time. And okay, what do we got? We got about 3 weeks here. Okay, well, we better piece together. Teams were phoning me all winter, and I wasn't responding. And Eastern teams were wanting to come, and I wasn't responding very well. So, yeah, this year is. I'm just glad to be alive. I'm glad to be breathing in spring, to be honest, and happy to have a tournament. You have a good outlook on life and health and fitness. Hopefully, I buy into that word and look after yourself, and and then my dad was he was a health and fitness guy. He was really strong, and not us kids. We drink pop, and we don't look after ourselves. We eat chips. And we just don't work as hard as that older generation. We're soft, and I just paid the price. I didn't look after myself, so we pieced it together. We're here now, and we start in 2 days, and we're able to get teams, and we're able to get buy-in from the fans and the crowds, we hope, and we're able to have something for my dad again. And we made a promise. He asked us on his deathbed a couple things when he was dying. He just wanted to make sure that that people don't forget his name. That's why we do it. one of his requests he made before he passed.
For yourself, everything you've been through since the summertime to now, it's kind of led up to this because it's that kind of when you're going through chemo and you're fighting the battle of your life and you're sick and you're throwing up. I've had friends gone through it, and it's a horrible experience. Was this kind of the guiding light for you, the tournament itself? That you know what, I get through this. I got a tournament. I got to do something for Dad.
Yeah, no, you have to set really small, short goals, and you don't set long goals. Like you don't. Oh boy, I can't wait for this and this. But I told myself and my wife, I said, look at we. And she was the one that got me through it. Like honestly, without my wife, I wanted to quit chemo in the second round, and I just wanted to quit. And I was good. I was done. Just let me put me in the bush, and I'll just go away, like just almost like that. And but she got me through it, and she said, "Look, at your dad's tournament's coming up. It's going to be the May long weekend. You'll be feeling stronger in May long weekend." And and so this was our target, was for me to be here and to have a tournament and see people and get energy from them and good wishes and handshakes and people checking on you, see how you're doing. You isolate yourself when you're sick, so you don't want to see anyone, you don't want to talk to anyone. You isolate yourself. So this is my, I guess this is my short-term goal, was to get here today.
And you got here, and you're here today. Look back to 2016, Neil. When you start putting this tournament together, did you ever think for that first year, it was you had 8 teams, I believe? Yeah, 8 teams in 2016 to where it is now. And back then it was probably just kind of a Saskatchewan thing. You know, you had a few teams here and there. Now it's a nationwide thing. And the crowds you will get this weekend, it will be right through the roof. And do you ever think that would have happened way back in 2016?
No, my band was trying to honor my dad, and they said, "We'll run a tournament," and then that's what they wanted to do. And then he said, "Okay." Went through the first one, and it was difficult. Like you get 8 teams, but you're acting like you're phoning anyone, like come play. Like your guys are scared, like come play, just come and play. No one's gonna get hurt here. And second year wasn't very much better, and then that's my dad stepped in and he said, "Look, we're gonna do a tournament. I don't want an entry fee. I want people to come, and we're gonna call it Chief Thunderstick. That's my Indian name."
Okay, yeah.
And I want my Indian name to represent my tournament. And I said, "Okay, we'll call it Chief Thunderstick," and that's his name. And a friend of ours named Curtis Standing said, told Freddie, he said, "Freddie, you should have it a national championship. It's never been done before." And he said, "Yep, let's do that." And but when we named it that, we had a bunch of people that, "Oh, who do you guys think you are, being a national championship tournament?" Like had to go through that phase, and
Yeah.
we got out of that, and then it just took off. It took off, and we had teams from the east, and they started coming down. And once they, you get the ones in our world are Norway House, Cross Lake, Eagle Lake, Peguis. You start getting those big, large teams, then the eastern teams come through the door, and that's where we took off.
The women's division too is kind of a measuring stick of taking off. You added the women's division. What has that meant for the Thunderstick?
The women's division is like we always wanted to place them in there. We had really good luck. Bridget Laquette was a good friend of my dad, and she really looked up to Bridget, and Bridget looked up to him, and she would always, when Bridget would come by, she would always, "Hey, how's my girl? You're doing really good. Like, people love you." Like, he would really enforce her and make sure she's that I'm behind you, kind of thing, from him. And when we entered the women's tournament, she phoned. She said, "Look, we're just out of the Olympics. If the Olympic break work comes through, I think they were in China then. We're going to bring a team." I said, "Really?" And well, the first year before that, she played in the men's division, and she was training with the Team Canada on the Olympic team, and that little arena, you couldn't even breathe in there. It just packed the rafters to everyone to watch Bridget play men's, and she got hit a few times. It's contact, and she hit a few people, and she made a goal. And the year after that, that's when she decided to bring the Olympic women's team, the Indigenous side, and it was a pleasure. Probably one of the highlights for us is that team.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Through all this, though, there has been some pretty big name players have come through the Thunderstick, and we're talking about players that played in the National Hockey League, played overseas, some fairly notable names.
Oh yeah, no, what we did, like there's a person that gets forgotten. His name is DJ King. He's up in the Meadow Lake area. He played a rough style hockey, and same thing. He was really good with my dad. My dad just, as soon as he grabbed DJ, he'd say, "Man, DJ, you're a strong, big man," and but DJ told us, "Look, you make the place safe. Like if you make the place safe, people will come. I'll come and play, and but you got to have good rules, and you got to kick out all the stupidity." And don't have the stupidity of people drinking and high or something like that, and they're playing hockey and they're mad and they're going home and they're trying to kill someone on the ice. So he said, clean up all that stuff and watch the teams will come. And then DJ came with his brother Dwight. Dwight just finished up his pro career and come with his Montreal Canadian pants and he was finished with Montreal Canadiens and he come flying around there. And that year, another guy jumped on the ice. He just finished in the NHL. His name was Ethan Bear.
Oh, there you go.
And he played with Edmonton. That was his first season with Edmonton. He got in a few games, and he finished up the season. They were out of the playoffs, or I don't know if they made the playoffs that year. But he came, and he showed up. And right from there, it's been good. So, like, if my dad was here, he'd thank DJ Dwight, Ethan Bear, and there's so many people down east like that you don't know. They played American Hockey League, or they're in Europe, or they're in a KHL. There's a lot of them. I think last year we looked, there was, I think 163 players were professional or semi-professional players that played in the tournament last year.
Talk about how important the youth are to the tournament, as much as they're not on the ice playing, but they're a big, very, very important part of Thunderstick.
Yeah, they are, because our problem, and it's a problem right across Canada, is for long time ago. That's why my dad made the tournament a long time ago. First Nations didn't have ice; they didn't have arenas, and he was fortunate. He was a big player. And he would go play in towns and cities. Like he would go there, they would hire him, and people would rush to go play him. So he has these memories of the 50s. And so they built a rink in Sandy Lake in Atacahoop in the 72, I think it was. And so they made a push to build arenas for us little kids, like we were small. And so there's a big push to build arenas. Well, when we started getting rinks, then all of a sudden we couldn't play in the leagues. We would still have to leave and go to the town, and the town would be 12 kilometers away, and we'd end up having to go. And my dad remembered all that, and so he made a big push to make sure this is our league. Then, if this is going to be our league, this is our Stanley Cup, this is our Allen Cup. My tournament, May long weekend, this will be our Allen Cup final. Because if we can't get to play in towns anymore, and there's no one in little towns, rural areas are died with young children, but the First Nations, they've doubled their populations, and so it's reversed now, and they have all the kids, but they have no one to play against. So we hope it's like a feeder. Like at the end of the day, this is our league, and it's a feeder system that if you can't make it anywhere else, there's this one that you can come to.
Yeah, good that you brought up Allen Cup. I got a couple of Allen Cup rings sitting at home, so that's great to hear comparisons to the Allen Cup, because it's a tournament that kind of came back, but it's not still not the Allen Cup like it used to be. Now, where do you go with a Freddie now? It's grown from 2016 to where it is now. You have teams run across the country. What's the future, Neil? I know your future was from October to now was just to be alive and to be here and to run the tournament. But as for the tournament itself, what's the future?
Well, we're kind of in a conundrum a bit. People want us to move the event around. They want us to move it to east, like to Quebec or to New Brunswick or to Calgary or to Kamloops.
Yeah.
So that's one conundrum we're in. Do we move the tournament? The second piece is Saskatoon is such a hotbed. Saskatchewan and Saskatoon is such a hot market for fans, and but the problem with Saskatchewan teams, they don't travel. They barely get to Prince Albert and Saskatoon. They would never see Winnipeg. They wouldn't take a chance of going to Calgary. So we're in a dilemma here. Like, what do we do? Do we stay here and just that's it? We are the national championships and it's always in Saskatoon and or do we move it around and let the other fans enjoy it and other teams get a crack at it? You can imagine the airfare flights this year for coming here is unrealistic. So
here's a question for those people that say that you should move down to Saskatoon. Maybe mention the fact that where your dad is standing right now. Statue of him standing right beside Gordie Howe at SaskTel Place. So if you're coming in Saskatoon, this is what I tell the people. You're coming in to watch the Freddie this weekend. Before you go to the Freddie or even after the Freddie, go and see your dad at SaskTel Place. He's playing wing with Gordie Howe.
Oh yeah, no one and see we kind of have a hard time. We're really careful how we talk about the tournament because we don't want to look like we have big egos and like all that stuff. We're really careful around it, and we love it when other people speak for us, and because we won't speak for ourselves, and but there's a statue there, and my dad of all places, he picked Saskatoon because he thought that Saskatoon City was welcoming and it was a different town. Like he played in lots of cities and towns, and but he said no, Saskatoon was always really good to me. Always, the people are good and great for us in Saskatoon, so that's why he chose Saskatoon. And at the end of the day, it'll be here. We think it'll be here. So,
what does that statue mean to your family? To see your dad there, and of course, Gordie Howe's there too, and Flora, Saskatchewan, just down the road from Saskatoon is where he was born. And of course, kind of raised in Saskatoon. But when you're standing beside Mr. Hockey, and that's got to be something very special. That the legacy of your dad is right there. The legacy of your dad is the Thunderstick too.
Oh yeah, no, and you got to remember, like my dad passes and when my dad passes, it's rough because he had COVID and he was isolated.
Yeah.
And he was isolated. He phoned me on a Friday. Leads into the statue. He phones me on a Friday and he's hacking. I could hear it. I said, "Dad, you gotta get to the hospital. Like you have to get to the hospital right now. You might have COVID. You might have pneumonia in your lungs." And so they rush him in Friday. He phones me, it's worse. He can't breathe. And I finally get through to the nurse and like, you got to test him. You have to test him right away because my mom is at home and there's an extended family there. And then I think it was Monday, they phoned me Monday morning or Tuesday. I can't remember the day. And they phoned me at 6 and they said, can you talk to your dad? I said, okay, what do you want me to talk to him about? Well, this is going to be his last day. And I said, okay, so what do you want me to do? Can people go see him? And he said, no, we can't. They can't see him. He's in an isolated room, and we want you to help us walk him through his final day. And I said, okay, well, how do I do that? They said through his cell phone. So I ended up phoning my dad, 6, 7, 8 times, and talk him through his death. And finally around the 7th or 8th time, is when he finally said, okay, I get it. I get it. I'm not going home. No, you're not going home. Am I dying? I said, you're gonna die today. You're gonna die, and there's nothing they can do. They said, so I'm just here to help you. And then he said, okay, I'm gonna go to heaven. And that day bothered me for a year. Like it still bothers me.
It chokes
But
me up too right now. So yeah.
and then they people, then he passes, and he passed that day, and I fail to forget how big of an impact he was. And people were phoning, and my mom wasn't doing good because she ended up with COVID. They were all sick from pneumonia, and so everyone got sick in my household. We didn't bury him for 10 days, I think it was. And he was in the morgue they wouldn't let us see him in the morgue. They weren't sure about the rules then. And the funeral was quick. There's 30 people. We only got there. My mom spent 2 hours with him, and then we couldn't meet or touch each other, and there's no meal. And we went to the grave site. We went to the grave site, and we all dispersed, and we didn't talk to each other for a long time. And then people were trying to do like, Neil, can you do interviews? Yeah, I'll try my best. Like I'm trying my best here. So, and then the Saskatoon people wanted to put a statue up for him, and they forgot. Like we just went through a horrible thing, and I didn't want to look at his picture anymore, and because people kept telling me stories. They wanted to relive their past and their memories through a phone call, and so they ended up doing that statue, and I was thankful for it. But the statue is a blessing, and it's really a reminder of a really, really dark year. And but I go there, and I go say hi to my dad. We take my sisters do, and my mom would stop in there before she passed away, and my brother passed away a month before my dad. So it's a series of events that happened. I lost three brothers just before my dad, and then my dad passes. And it's all within a short time frame. And so that's, for me, it was hit and miss. And his book came out, his final edits for his book. He died on the 20th of November. I think it was the 20th. And like the Friday I phoned him, that's why I was phoning him. I said, Dad, your book's done. No more edits. It's going to the shelf. And then he started trying to talk, and I knew, okay, this guy's sick. But his book just finished that day I think it was around the 19th or the 17th. I was phoning him with good news. Your book's done. It'll be on the shelf. And he didn't. He died 3 or 4 days after that announcement. And so he never got to see his book. We made an audio file for him to listen, in Cree. And he never got to listen to it. He never got to see his front cover. He never got to see anything of his book. And you're just gone in 4 days.
Wow.
So that's the story about everything with, in a short version of a statue and those last 4 days of his life.
Now, what would your dad say right now? You're getting ready for the tournament. It looks like it's going to be one of your biggest ones yet, and it's grown so much. And then you're battling what you're battling, and you have your own extended family, which is probably the Thunderstick hockey tournament's your extended family. What would your dad be saying to you right now as you get ready for the tournament?
I don't know. Like honestly, I took a bit of a time out today, and I was kind of thinking, I wonder what this guy would say. I wonder what this guy would say to me. He had a hard time talking with us as kids from the residential school days. He was a tough dad. And it took that book for us to forgive him. It wasn't just like, hey, come here, my boy. You're like, I want to hug you and I love you and throw you up in the air. It wasn't like that. Ours was really hard and tough. And but if he was today, I would think he would say thank you. That you thank you, my boy. You did good. And that's where my mom left off. You did good, my boy. You did good. And I'm happy what you did. It's hard what you did, but hopefully people understand what you're doing it for and
Yeah.
why you're doing it. And that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
And Neil, thank you so much for what you're doing. You're doing it not just for that hockey tournament. The landscape of First Nation hockey across the country has changed because of the Thundersticks. So that work that you did, it's paying off. And I just want to say thank you for the battle that you went through just to get to it, because there's nothing more that you're looking forward to than jump into that rink, seeing that first game and going, all that C word is behind me. And now it's just hockey, right?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, and I haven't seen people in a year basically, and I'm looking forward to everything. And you know, we don't podcasters and people that interview, like, whatever time we give them, we try help whatever we can, and we're just trying to grow everything and everything around it. And but yeah, I'm really careful about how I talk about the tournament. It's just I don't want to jinx it, and you know, and I just try to keep it to where my dad left it. It's free entry. Invite people. Make sure it's safe. Make sure the ice is ready for them. Put all your put all your energy into the ice, meaning the teams and the ice and the officiating. If you have that really good, the fans will come, and
No,
don't have alcohol in there.
yeah. No, the fans can't come. They can watch it online. Maybe give us details on where they can watch online.
I think we're creating a YouTube channel today. We have a YouTube channel, but we're playing catch up today. So I wish we had more detail, but
Yeah.
it'll be on our YouTube page. It's Chief Thunderstick National Hockey Championship is a page we have. So on YouTube. So we'll probably be uploading there.
Neil, thank you so much for this. Greatly appreciate it. And here's hoping that you're battling yourself, you're getting through it, and you're going to find your way to the rink and find your way onto the sunny side of things.
Good. Right on. Thank you very much. Thanks for everything. Hope to see you guys in the future.
There we go. That's Neil Sasakamoose getting ready for the Thunderstick Hockey Tournament. You're watching 7 Generation live streaming.